When I was a makeup artist, I learned something wild about personal branding. I didn't learn this from a business book. I didn't learn this from a marketing course. I learned this from being behind the scenes in a real business, in the trenches. I realized that the clients you choose are very important, that you have a say just as much as they do on who you're taking on. I realized very early on that you don't just attract clients, you also train them. Through your presence, your positioning, and your brand. Through the clients, the offers, the deals, the gigs that you say yes to. So early on, I noticed that I was getting these jobs that weren't very good. Low pay, long hours, unappreciated, work that I didn't even really enjoy. And because I was still in school, I was saying yes to these offers to get experience. But I soon realized, why am I doing this? I don't need to do this. And so I stopped saying yes to these horrible jobs. And you'll never guess what happened. Those people stopped calling. It was amazing. And this is what I mean by you train them. This is when I realized I was only going to be available for jobs that I actually loved, people I really wanted to work with at price points that I could get behind. So I set boundaries and standards for myself and my business, and I wouldn't take jobs below a certain amount. I didn't even realize it back then, but I was building a personal brand. I was sharing my stories, my inspiration, my makeup looks online. People were following me, commenting, and enjoying the journey. This foundation is what I brought into my coaching business. Pricing, marketing, offers, storytelling, client alignment, team building, leadership, so much. Fast forward to these days, and honestly, branding still kind of means the same thing to me. Sharing your truth, your energy, your values. Only now, a lot more people are doing it. A lot more people are coming online to create a personal brand, so the space is much noisier. So the question I always ask myself, and I want you to ask yourself as well, is what will make your brand unforgettable? When everyone else is posting and shouting online about their stuff and creating generic offers, generic content, what is going to make you naturally stand out? It's your story, your values, your energy, and how you position all of that. It's your offers, your marketing, and the way in which you infuse your intuitive edge into everything that you create. This is where the new rebellion came in for me, rebel rising, being a rebel on the rise. I could never for the life of me, all of these years of being an entrepreneur, nail down this perfect avatar statement. Who they were, their age, where they lived, what industry they're in. Honestly, I have helped so many people across so many industries. And finally, last year, it became so obvious to me. I am a rebel, I've always been a rebel, and I resonate the most deeply with rebels. So when I started talking about rebel rising, people lit up. The coolest people would message me, I'm a rebel, I want to be on the rise, or I'm on the rise, and this made me so excited. I knew it was landing for the right people. There wasn't a certain age, they weren't in a certain location, they didn't have a certain job title or industry. Not even all of them are entrepreneurs. And this is what I love about this brand and this movement is it spans across the world, it spans across age, all of this stuff, and it connects us as like-minded people who are rebels. So I've been sharing my story online since 2009, quite a long time now. And the crazy thing is that most people can share my story back to me better than I can because they've been following along with my journey online and reading my posts and watching my videos and being witness to everything that I've been doing. They can literally tell my story back to me better than I can. When I first started recognizing this, it kind of blew my mind. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, how do these people know all of this? And I'm like, okay, duh, of course, I'm literally posting it online. But this is the power of a personal brand. And my approach has never been highly strategic first. My approach is storytelling first. And this actually aligns perfectly with my human design. I'm a 1-3. So for me, it's all about sharing my story and selling my knowledge, basically. That's like my magnetism. So this type of branding works perfectly for me. Now here's where it gets exciting and even a little spicy. AI is here. It's not going anywhere, let's be real, and I'm curious if you have been playing around with it. I've been playing around with AI in my business for some time now, and recently been playing around with even more different AIs that can do different things, like building a brand new website using 6 or 7 different AI tools, and I really do love it. I use it to help me enhance my ideas, simplify my ideas, research, different things like that. But here's what I know to be true about AI and personal branding moving forward. AI can replicate information, but it cannot replicate your identity, your character, your energy. So this is really your edge if you want to build a personal brand, or you already are building a personal brand, is use these systems and tools to amplify your experience. But don't forget that your humanness, your energy, and your character is what is connecting with people. So don't just lose all of that to this technology. Make sure that that's still at the forefront of everything you're doing. I get that that can be challenging because all of these tools are so new and so exciting, and we can spend a lot of time on them. You are a human connecting with another human, and this is always how business works. So my prediction, what I think is going to happen, is that the brands that are going to win aren't going to be the loudest, the shiniest. Just like always, it's the brands that make people feel something. Make people feel safe, make people feel heard, make them feel like you understand where they're at and where they want to go. It's the simple client journey. It's about storytelling, and this is what makes the information interesting and unique. You take the information that matches with the brand that you're building, and you add and infuse your story into it. This is what makes it compelling, what makes people resonate, and therefore makes them want to walk that journey with you and be your client. This is what cuts through the noise. So if you're just pumping out content to keep up, you're already missing the point. We're moving into a chapter where how you're saying something matters almost more than what you are saying. Bring your creativity into it. Bring your personal story. Bring some vulnerability. Bring some humanness to this. And that's going to slice through the noise and build that connection. And I understand that it's not always easy to do that. We're busy. It feels like a fast-paced world. But if you just pause, even for a microsecond before creating your marketing or communicating with people, whether online, offline, about your business, just take a second and infuse it with your personal story. Bring you back into it. And that's going to be so compelling and much more interesting. The thing that I hate about most branding information, branding courses, and different things like that are out there is often they start with looking at your competitors. So before you even define your brand, your offers, and things like that, it's like asking you to look at your competitors. And I hate that because that's starting from an external source and then moving inward. And I'm always about the other way around. We start with what's inside of you and then move outward. So please don't listen to that information. I think it is valuable to look at what's happening in the marketplace, but not necessarily first. I think if you know you want to create a brand and you have a strong sense and a feeling about it, then there's something there for you, right? And if your story aligns with that brand, it can be very powerful. And to tap into that truth first and then see what the rest of the world is doing, so you don't taint your vision or taint the energy you feel. I believe your best positioning comes from looking within first and gathering your data from that place, and then extracting that and turning it into something so cool and so unique and so distinctive that it's probably not even in the marketplace yet anyways. So if you were to scan it and see what the market is doing, you probably wouldn't even find anything anyways. And that means you are a category of one, which is the goal. Your story, your way, your lane, let's go. I have been thinking about this a lot lately, about all this change going on, what's happening in the world, what's coming next, how do we fit into that, and how do we stay current as well with all of it. I've personally been in a big building phase the last few weeks. If you've probably noticed, I've been a bit quieter online right now. All of my capacity has gone to building an entirely new website, an immersive experience, a lot of things on the back end, and you'll slowly start to see them trickling into the front end again. So this is all a deeper excavation of the rebel rising movement and the different pieces of infrastructure within that. So it's very exciting times. I don't want to say much, but I'm working on such cool things. One, which I think will be mind-blowing and something I actually created in the past. It's getting revamped and modernized, and oh my God, I'm so excited. But a little hint, a little Easter egg, it's something that's going to bring rebellion, story, personal power into the branding world in a big, big way. So if you've been thinking about how you want to be seen moving forward online and in your personal brand, or you've been curious about where branding is going with AI on the rise, I'd love to hear from you. Let's spark a convo in the comments and see where everyone's at with this. I'm curious to hear from you. What do you think is going to matter most in the personal branding space in the coming years? And what things are you experimenting with? Let's have a convo in the comments, and if you have any questions, pop them down below as well, and I can answer them in the comments or the next video.